Hey. It's Thursday. Well, my day. I'm so used to saying it's Thursday. I'm so used to saying it's Thursday night, man. But it's the Wednesday night special edition of the Thursday night ATL Flag Football podcast, man. It's Wednesday night. We just followed up with coming behind Mr. Don DC Curry and their podcast, man. And they had a dope show. Make sure y'all, you like some good, funny comedy on the podcast, man. Like, share, and subscribe. This race, DIS race, Don DC Curry every Wednesday night here at Uptown Comedy Corner, man. But we here, ATL Flag Football podcast, man. It's your boy Low in the building with the man himself, Mr. 5-Star Sports, James Reese. What up, James?
What's going on tonight? How y'all doing tonight?
So, James, we're going on a Wednesday night this week, man.
Yeah, I have to get on the road and run a quick errand tomorrow, so I won't be here tomorrow night. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to get the people what they normally are waiting for and anticipating.
Quick errand, man. There was a time, man, when somebody said I had to get on the road, make a quick errand. Boy, they were doing some things that weren't really legal there, James.
Yeah, no, absolutely
not those kind of errands. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely not. This is family related. No. Family business.
What up, Billy? Yeah, man. So you just came off the road too, huh?
I did. Came back from home. Went up to Virginia to support the tournament, support our local teams, and enjoy.
Will was in Virginia this past week too, man. Will brought back some sweet potato jacks, man. You ever eat them sweet potato jacks up there, man?
Yeah, I do.
You got some yacht too? What?
And I got so busy I forgot to go get, because we were talking about it.
We were talking about it.
I love going home to get yakimein because you just can't get it here. You cannot get it. And if you're not from the DMV area and you don't know what yakimein is, you are missing out.
I'm going to tell y'all a true story.
That's how I know these Chinese restaurants ain't really Chinese restaurants, because they don't serve yakimein.
I'll tell you a true story, man. When I was we used to live in Germany. My mom was a single mom with 3 boys, no other income. She was in the military. And when I say my grandfather sent over a big box of yacht, well, I said we lived. There was nothing else in the cupboards but yacht, bread, mayo, good old mayo sandwiches. You know what I mean? But we lived off yacht, man. We lived off yacht, boy. Ooh-wee.
I loved it.
And never got enough of it. I can still eat yacht to this day, for sure. You eat eggs at yours?
I eat eggs.
Okay.
I eat the beef. I eat the chicken. I eat the pork yacht.
Okay.
I eat it all. Any kind. I'm loving me some yacht.
Yeah, it is. There it is. That's a real Virginian right there.
Somebody probably Googling, what's yacht?
What's yacht? No doubt. So listen, man, real quick, 'cause I know we got a lot to go over, and we're gonna make it swift. But we talked about it right before we came on air, man. Have you been following this P. Diddy trial? Are you aware that they've arrested? Are you aware there's been charges already dropped on this thing?
I got the notification today that they did arrest. I didn't see that the charges had been dropped.
Some charges have been dropped.
That some of them, yeah, I didn't see that. Had another event today at the Mercedes-Benz with my ladies. Shout out, we'll reschedule. But so I didn't see that part, but I did see that that the prosecution had rested, and that P. Diddy was not going to take the stand.
Yeah, he definitely going to take the stand. Yeah, we had a full-fledged conversation here last night that got real loud. But, I guess people have chosen taking sides, and you either for or against. Me, I don't, situations like this, I don't necessarily take sides. I just look at what the law says based on the cases. You know what I mean? being a former law enforcement officer, I've always, I see things differently than some other people. And so, so sometimes, especially when it comes to police shootings and all that stuff, my opinion sometimes not very popular because I'm going to give you the legal side, not what you want to hear.
That's not what they're about. That's not what they want to hear.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the legal side of it. And, and my percentage is pretty darn good when I be saying, hey, like, I tell you, police, I can tell you they're going to get found guilty, they're going to get off for a police shooting. I tell you, it's good shoot, bad shoot, you know what I mean? But you don't want to hear that stuff sometimes, but it is what it is. But I just think, you're right, Sap. He's a freak. There's no question. There's no question he's a freak. There's no question he is an abuser. There's no question about that stuff. But I only go, when I talk this conversation, I'm only going on the actual charges. You know what I mean? He wasn't charged for assault. So you can say, yeah, we beat up, but that's not what he was charged for. She was already paid off for the assault.
That might be the ace in the hole when all the scrawls have grabbed out. Well, let's go ahead and throw that in there. We know that can stick.
No, they can't because she's already settled, and she never filed criminal charges, and she's already settled. So only reason she talked about it because of the RICO, they can make her. She testified to it. You know what I mean, going against the NDA, but because it's a RICO charge, they can kind of break that jump. But they're not gonna charge him with that stuff. You know what I mean? And the reality of it is, it's gonna be interesting. I'm not saying he's gonna get off. I think his chances are much better. And I think what the prosecution did was realize a lot of the things they tried to bring up, especially with some of the other witnesses, it backfired on them. And so all those things they felt like they backfired, they dropped those charges, like the arson, the kidnapping. The girl said she was kidnapped, but yet you've been sending him birthday wishes every year for the last 5 years. I don't think you send birthday wishes to a person that kidnapped you and abused you and did all these things to you. Why would you care about happy birthday to him? You know what I mean? So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how this thing folds. The goal of the prosecution was to paint him as a demon. And again, I'm not in defense of him. All right, I just always felt like the charges were not justified based on what evidence was seen. You know what I mean? If people are volunteering to participate in such an activity and getting paid for it, I just don't think somebody should be brought up on those charges. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I said before, if that's the case, every bachelor party in America, these people all should be charged. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Hey, all these bachelor parties, all these, and my biggest issue, James, the fact that they're persecuting this guy, but yet we got this guy with Abercrombie and Fitch, who they know for a fact was molesting these young boys, and he got a bond. And you don't hear anything about that case. Nothing. That case has been, they're trying to push that junk under the rug, you know what I mean, and keep our attention on this. So that's what really pisses me off. But anyway, next real quick, man, y'all Presidente then drop bombs, literally. F-bombs and everything.
Yeah.
Hey, what were your thoughts when you saw that?
Just another example of him just not being qualified to be the person in charge. He's probably mad because he thought that I dropped the bombs, now they're talking, I'm going to have something to say, I'm going to look good. But now that the talks are breaking down, he's getting frustrated, he can no longer get credit for it. Mm-hmm. So now he's upset. But,
Now they say they dropped these bombs and these
totally annihilated.
Totally annihilated. But Iran said, man, you ain't annihilate a thing. Iran says our stuff's still in place. All you did was make a bunch of noise and damage the ground.
And to be honest, when he said that, I instantly felt like that's a lie. I believed no parts of what he said.
That's embarrassing.
You got from Iran talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe no. I mean, we've seen how he described things that are turned out to not be remotely close to what he said. Mm. So when he was like, "Oh, totally, utterly," I'm like, they probably told him this, and he just changed it to that because it sounded better for the TV. Just like when he gave his speech, all those claps sounded better that Fox added to it, but when PBS showed it, it was quiet as a church mice in there. Fox News then added the clap machine to his speech and was giving him applause. So you can't believe what he says anymore.
Yeah, anymore. I don't know when we could believe anything he said. You know what I mean, the guy's an interesting character. I don't know what to say about him. He's an interesting character. So I think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna lead to this major war just yet.
Nah, I don't think.
But I do believe there's gonna be it's gonna be some ongoing retaliations. Mm-hmm. And I think that you're not flying. Yeah, I think there's gonna be some ongoing retaliations. I don't think they're gonna let it go. It's not gonna go away quietly. It's gonna be some more stuff.
What I'm more worried about, I'm not worried. I don't anticipate a. Yeah, we were waiting. I don't anticipate
Go around it. Go.
a combat in a traditional war.
Right.
I anticipate maybe some sleeper cells being activated in certain areas.
Absolutely.
And certain, especially, unfortunately, with the holiday that's about to come up, I think that they might step out there on the scene in some of the
if they pop up and show out.
some of the wonderful areas.
Yeah.
I think the beautiful people are fine. I think it's the wonderful areas that's going to get hit. But
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. I don't think.
But did you see the quote where somebody posted his quote where he said that we can't elect Kamala. She'll have us in war in 6 months. And he's done it in 5.
How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, let's face facts, man. He wanted the war last time he was in office. He didn't get what he wanted, so he don't want to leave office without one. Mm-hmm. Wars produce generational wealth. Generational on top of generational on top of generational wealth. Wars are big money for that party, man. So it only benefits them to find it, and he wants to flex muscle so bad, So, and you're right, man. Get your firearms ready, but also prepare. Make sure you have conversation with your family. Have to-go bags. Be prepared for anything. What do you do if your power was out? What do you do? I mean, these are conversations folks got to start having. Whether it happens or not, it's still a conversation you should have. Because you never do know what's going to go down or where it's going to go down at. So, So we ain't at war yet. I ain't got the call yet. Yeah. I don't anticipate it being a war just yet. But he's looking for it. So anyway, we're gonna recap a little bit, James. You got a lot to recap. You got both tournaments that you went to go check out and support your local teams, and then you had your local teams playing in half of week 4. Is that right?
Yeah, that was week 4.
Okay.
Week
4 and a half. Week 4 and a half.
Yeah. So I'll start with Virginia Beach.
Yeah, they're gonna be proud of the internet. Go out. You're right. Go ahead.
What I'll say is that I'm disappointed, and I'm not disappointed so much in the outcome of how New Jack and Outsiders finished. Okay. I'm more disappointed that when we had the captain's meeting, we had 10 teams that said they were going to Virginia. Yet, when we went, there were 2 teams that went, and those 2 teams couldn't even get filled up. With the 8 teams that were going, I feel like that you guys should have, helped out your fellow teammates. Because every time I turn around, it's supposed to be ATL versus everybody.
That's what they say.
That's what I always see and hear, but yet we get to this tournament and clearly it's not the case. And there were several people that were planning to go, and because of some other reason that the team didn't go, well, if you were still planning to go, just go. Go and help your people. Because some of these teams are always looking for help. When they do stuff, why not help the other people? So that's why I was disappointed at, but Outsiders and New Jack, I mean, they did well. I mean, Outsiders made it to the championship, and New Jack made it to the game before the championship. Man, Outsiders, when I tell you they laid it all out on the line, they laid it on the line. They had nothing left to give in that game. Injuries was piling up. Players was playing extremely hurt, exhausted, dehydrated, so shout out to them. But also New Jack the same way. They gave almost everything they had. Miko was, he was done. He was exhausted. People were tired. And, but they just did whatever they could do, to try their best. And, they both at the end did make it. But, I mean, I got to give them a shout out for as tough as they played. But I just wish there were more people that would have went to support them. And, from conversations I had with lots of people, I knew people were going. And I heard some of the lame excuses as to why they end up not going, but I just wish that more people would have went. But needless to say, so that's how we had it. And I actually Storm as well, Atlanta Storm, our ladies team, they went. They also made it to the championship, and they did not win either. And of course, they had a few less people that traveled. But I think that the players that traveled all got a better help them. It just helped them more tournament ready. It just helps. They saw things. It helped give them that know who you can depend on, and when you got to give it your all, they know how to do it. So I think it helped all of those players in that aspect. I know some of the outside players definitely said it opened their eyes to some things, because I think this was their first time traveling outside of nationals, this particular group. So it helped open their eyes to some things. They saw some different competition that they're not going to see in the league. I know Storm went up there and they were playing D2, but they got put in the pool with Lady Elite, and they held their own. The first half, that wasn't even in the score. Storm had already had 2 interceptions. And so it helped them to the point that they're now going to play D1 and brawl for it all.
Is that right?
Yeah, so, I think that they appreciated the opportunity that it gave to them. But teams definitely need to travel, and players need to travel. And, I ain't counting nobody's pockets. God knows I'm not. But the trip didn't get expensive the night before it was time to leave. It might have got more expensive when you said 2-3 months ago when you were going. But we all knew the costs associated. And the worst thing you can do is to think you're going somewhere 30 deep, and then you get there and find out 15 of your people ain't coming, and they didn't even have that decency or audacity to tell you that they're not coming.
Right.
So.
Right.
But other than that, decent tournament, hot as crap. I know the refs up there do not ref like the refs down here, and that presented a challenge for some of the players.
Okay.
And I know I saw some chats and conversations about different rules. And what I'll just say is, the UFF rules are the UFF rules. They don't change. The way people decide to apply them may change. But what's written in that book is what's in that book.
Sure.
And if somebody says something other than what's in that book, you need to know what you need to do. And an example of that was when I went over to the New Jack game. The moment I cut the camera on, the other team decided to pass interfere right literally in front of me. And so the referees that were calling the game called it a spot foul. And so, the New Jack players,
Called a 15. They called a 15 yard.
I mean, they called it a 15-yard walk-off.
Right.
And then some of the New Jack players were arguing and upset because they said it should be a spot foul, which in all actuality, they were correct. It was a spot foul.
Right.
But I didn't realize I didn't cut it off, but you'll hear me in the video telling Mike, hey, go over there, protest that. Don't what you're arguing for. We all know the call is wrong, but don't stand there and argue about it. Protest it, get it over with, and move on.
Right.
Because arguing is only going to make the referees more upset, make them feel more insulted, and then, you're killing time and wasting time. Then granted, people say, well, we shouldn't have to spend $75 to get it right. You shouldn't. They should know it. But at the same time, you shouldn't waste your time. But also what I was explaining to one other person is that he said in our league, it's a 15-yard penalty. And I said, well, that may be the case in your league. But if that's your league, that's a modified rule that your league has. Just like I have a modified video challenge that only my league has. My players can't go to D.C. and expect to do that. Your players can't come down here. But because we don't play in D.C. and you don't play in Atlanta, we don't know what your rules are. We have to use the rules that Nationals has laid out.
Sure.
And sometimes refs do get complacent and fall back to just what they think they know versus where they're at. And that's why that's in place, so you don't get screwed over for something that's wrong.
Right.
And so that's why I just say, if you know the rules, you never got to worry about the ref screwing you over.
Right.
On rule calls. Now, I can't protest. Judgment calls are totally different. Can't protest the judgment call, and it's just up to their judgment. But I feel like if you get them too out of pocket, you might become the recipient of some bad judgment calls.
Yeah.
I did say $75, Billy, because that's what they were charging to protest. But again, if you know you're right, what difference do it make? You're getting it back. And I try to stay out of situations most often, but I didn't want, New Jack to continue to argue and get themselves out of the game because the spot foul ended up putting them in position, right, for Osa to just kick the game-winning field goal. Gen X kids scoring. Okay. All right, yeah, so that's just my recap on Vi Beach. Dwayne, did you have anything different that you wanted to talk about or that I might have missed? Or? Oh, okay.
It definitely shouldn't even came down to that.
Got the microphone. We ain't getting the microphone, y'all. Keep talking, Jane, until they get ready.
Okay. Listen, Billy, hey, it is what it is. And it's more so to prevent, it's put in place to prevent frivolous protests. If you did not have to pay, we would be protesting all day long. People would do it just to challenge. People would do it to delay the game. I've had somebody do it to just get their players rest and then didn't have the money and all kinds of foolishness. So you want to prevent it. But if you know you're right, it really don't matter because you're getting it back.
No, you're definitely right. I think if like you said, it could have got us out the game as opposed to, like you said, just paying the money and getting over with. Mm-hmm. There were several different plays in that game, though, that were crazy. We had got a pick and was returning it. And as we were returning it, he pitched it. And once he pitched it, the dude is running. He blows it dead as the dude is 5 yards past him. Blows it dead. Throws the flag out for illegal forward pitch and gives him the ball back. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And first and foremost, he shouldn't have blew it dead because the guy's flag wasn't pulled.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, even if it was a forward pitch, it may be a spot foul, but we keep the ball. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of weird. And then on the extra point, they had a play on the extra point where the guy deflected the ball, they intercepted it, and was returning it, and they said that they gave him a roughing the passer. They said he hit the quarterback's arm.
I remember that play.
So I mean,
when the video showed that
it was.
But the difference between I want to say the both of those plays are two different plays. The first one you described was a rule. That play should have been protested because you don't give the ball back if the penalty occurs after the interception, only before. And that's what you should have protested right then and there. Ended it, got your money back. The second one, unfortunately, was a judgment call. And that's where, unfortunately, a lot of foolishness happens on the judgment call. But the protest, the rule calls, you just don't waste your time arguing a rule when you know for a fact that's the rule. You just protest and get it over with. And then what happens in that situation sometimes, too, is that you put the referee on point to know that we're not going to allow foolery, and that if you don't know the rules, we do, and we're going to get them right. And so that's why I just just protest, just pay the money, protest. You're going to get it back. Okay. Yeah. So, but anyway, the last thing I'm gonna say is next time when I tell you to believe me that the Virginia Heat is different than the Atlanta Heat, believe me when I tell you.
D said them refs were out there scared. The coach from Savage and Ferry told ref he was gonna slap the mess out of him if he when he got home. No flags thrown or nothing.
He sure did. And listen, he did. But again, that's another reason though why you got to protest, because if the ref's scared, because of, and then the sad part about that is when they asked the ref about that, Lil D, he said it didn't happen, but everybody heard it.
Really?
They were right. Yeah, he said it right on the field. It was not. You heard it. So, but when they questioned him about it, he said it didn't happen. So that just let you know how scared he is.
Wow.
So, meanwhile, back home on the range with the ATL Flag Football players roam, we had some games going on.
Right.
Okay, so we had the remaining half of the league.
Hold on, I don't know if you were on here earlier or not, D, but shout out to y'all, man, for making it to the championship game, man. Hey, y'all couldn't finish it, but good job hitting that road and, getting that experience. Good job for y'all. Kudos to y'all, man, for doing that. He said the Heat for sure different.
Listen, it's different. We used to it. We know better.
Right.
But, lastly, one other thing. You cannot hydrate on the day of the game. It is too late. You cannot hydrate on the day of the game. And what that means is it's going to be in the 90s all week here. If you don't hydrate before Sunday, you're going to be cramped up in pain.
Facts.
When Virginia, a lot of those cramps that these people had, they were dehydrated. And it was like, but I've been drinking Gatorades all day. Yeah, because your body's dehydrated at this point. You're not going to get rehydrated without IVs or that type of stuff. Just drink, because whatever you're drinking, you're sweating it right back out. And what you really got to worry about is when you're no longer sweating. Right. That's when it's a problem.
Sure.
So hydrate, guys. Hydrate. So back to the league at hand. Half of the league was still in action. Looking at the picks, should have been a very easy thing, because there was not one single discrepancy in the picks. Every single person picked the exact same games all the way through. Right. So there will be no advantages or loss here, even if there were or possibly could have been some upsets. Not sure if there were any upsets. But
which would just keep somebody in the lead, but Oh well.
No one wanted to be bold and courageous. So, the first game of the day, we had the Swamp Bucks and the Georgia Raiders. No, that's not right. That's not right.
Yeah, D, that what James said. James said y'all started dropping like flies, boy. What hurt y'all? Good run though.
Okay, here we go. First game of the day, we had P&F at TYB. Everybody took TYB
Yeah, right.
to lose this game,
Okay, yeah, that's about right.
and everybody was correct. P&F came in hot off them 2 losses last week, so they came out and put up another 22-0 shutout.
22-0.
22-0. Next game we had Big Swamp.
I forgot to count. What was that? Is that 18, 17 in a row? What is that? Go ahead.
The next game we had Big Swamp at hosting TYB. Everybody picked Big Swamp in this game, but I can assure you, nobody would have predicted the final score of this game.
Okay.
Have you seen the score in this game?
I haven't.
What's your guess of what you think the score might have been?
TYB versus Big Swamp.
Uh-huh.
We've already had a 1-zip game,
Uh-huh.
so let's go 2-1.
Dwayne, have you seen it? What would you have to guess the score in this game would be? 2-1. Okay. How about 25-0 Swamp Bucks?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
25-0.
God dog, TYB. Hey, fellas, I bet y'all, if y'all change y'all name, they would get a win. 25-0 Swamp Bucks.
25-0. I asked them, are y'all sure that was the right score?
They might.
Like-
They trying to get their big. They trying to get the big back in their name.
Yeah, right? 25-0. They definitely the Big Swamp Bucks.
Wow.
So the next game, we had an interesting game.
Pro TYB.
We had the Georgia Raiders at PNF. For some reason, y'all didn't think PNF would go 2-0, even though they've come in hot. Went on a 4-0 run and then went on a 0-2 run.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they come in today 1-0. Raiders,
Been looking strong lately.
they're looking strong.
They've been looking strong lately.
They thought that they should be the number 1 seed versus the PNF, and after last week's game, Raiders did take over the number 1 spot. And so they decided we'll keep it over PNF and won this game 18-13.
Raiders won 18-13.
Raiders won 18-13.
PNF on a 3-game losing streak.
Well, no.
Oh, they
1-3.
Two?
TYB.
Oh, that don't count. I'm sorry, TYB.
Listen, they still got a couple of.
Okay.
They still have one more week to notch a win, and
Okay.
it could happen. Crazier things have happened.
Crazy thing have happened.
So the next game we had Big Swamp Bucks and United. A 25-0 destruction.
Can't wait to hear this score.
Over United. You guys all picked United.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in off of a shaky week, dropping down to the number 3 spot. Swamp Bucks kind of sort of used up all their points to give in this game. So, they ended up not scoring any points. 18-0 United.
Okay.
You was like, what? So next on the schedule, we had Raiders and the Crew. You got
The video or the volume, Billy? Okay.
Xfinity has been having issues all over the city. Raiders. They've been up and down. But Raiders didn't really care. But it has.
They're coming back up shortly.
They've had a lot of 1-point losses.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of their games have been decided by 1 point. They've been close, but that 1 point has eluded. Surprisingly, with the Raiders, though, it was once again like I was saying with rare form. We need to find some put wins on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't. It's only so many 1-point losses you can withstand. So, but the 1-point loss in this game went to the Georgia Raiders. This game 7-6.
No way.
Yes way. So all of you took a loss on. The Crew knocked off the Raiders.
Didn't see that coming. Where we at, Dwayne? Is it back? What about the volume? Can they hear? Huh? Okay. He said reset the modem or something. All right. We should be back up.
All right. So in the next game on the schedule, we had United at the Crew. Everybody picked United in this game.
Mm-hmm.
United again just beat Swamp Bucks. The Crew just beat the Raiders, the number 1 seed.
All right.
United is known for losing games they shouldn't lose. The Crew has been struggling. I don't even know who played quarterback for United in this game, but I know we tend to talk about the musical chairs at quarterback being a issue of consistency. Not saying that any of them are an issue at quarterback, but the consistency that happens when they don't, when they just play musical chairs.
You funny, Billy.
Well, I haven't stopped talking, Billy. So this would have been a good battle. A 1-point win in the Crew's normal fashion would have been great here. A 1-point loss would have been respectable here. United should have dominated this game if they're a top team. But as we know, they tend to lose these games out of the blue that we don't expect. So in this game, they did not lose. It was 14-0 United.
Over the Crew.
Over the Crew.
So they upset the Raiders and then get shut out by United.
Yeah. This might have been another situation.
Got a pattern
like
going on over there.
You use up all your points.
Yeah, they got a pattern going on over there.
And the next game, we had Georgia Smoke at LOZ. 20-0. Nothing to talk about. Moving right along.
Wait, what? Wait a minute. Just gonna skip past that? So I'm assuming Georgia Smoke shut out LOZ. That was
20
trying
to
to say.
zip.
Dang, John.
20 to zip. 20 to zip. I mean, I don't even know what needs to be discussed.
Dwayne, that loss is looking worse and worse, man. John, y'all at least made y'all win respectable against. You know what I mean? Y'all making that. Golly, man. They not even making that jump look respectable for us. All right, go ahead.
Next game, Smoke over Rare Form. I mean, Smoke against Rare Form, Rare Form hosting Smoke. Two pro teams, you would expect a good matchup for this one. You know, we've talked about Rare Form's defense keeping them in the game, their offense letting them down. Smoke has been pretty consistent this season, winning most of their games, not really struggling too much. But you would expect Smoke to win this game, and they did, 12-0. So
Smoke posted back-to-back shutouts, huh?
back-to-back shutouts, scoring 32 points, giving up 0. And the last game of the day, some would call, there's some sensitive people, so I have to guard myself with certain teams.
Okay.
But I did say that the loser of this game is definitely done in the playoffs. There's no hope. There's nothing to look forward to but to see who's going to win, because it won't be you.
This is LOZ Rare Form?
This is the LOZ Rare Form game. And the score in this game was 6-3.
6-3?
6-3.
Who won?
Who you think won, Dwayne?
Wait a minute, Rare Form.
6-3.
Is that a field goal? LOZ. Rare Form got a kicker? LOZ got a kicker, right?
No, he's not. LOZ's kicker is gone.
Oh, so Rare Form lost?
Has the kicker. Corey Derrick's the kicker.
So Rare Form lost.
I don't know what you think.
Rare Form won? Is that right?
That is totally wrong.
I was right.
LOZ won
LOZ
6-3.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say at this point.
Did they score a touchdown or was it 2 field goals?
It was a last minute field goal. A last minute touchdown, if I'm not mistaken from what I was told.
Wow.
So
LOZ knocked out Rare Form
LOZ,
to keep hope alive.
I don't know about all that, but we definitely know Rare Form has been put to bed.
Wow.
I don't know that I don't know about Hope still being alive.
Wow.
In the pro division, our standings are New Jack in first place at 5-1, Georgia Elite tied at 5-1 for first place. Georgia Smoke is in third place at 7-2 based on winning percentage. YB, Outsider, Shockwave, and Predators are still 3-3. Joe World is 2-4. LOZ is 2-6, and Rare Form is 1-7. So while 1-7 is definitely, the dirt has been thrown on the casket, I think the casket has been lowered at 2-6. I just don't see 4-6 making the playoffs.
No.
And
that over under won't get it.
Even if it does, you're bottom of the tiebreaker. So, yeah. In the comp division, we have regaining the number 1 seed is United at 7-1. DOA is second at 5-1. Raiders are third at 6-2. Paid in Full is fourth at 5-3. And Swamp Bucks is holding on to the 5th and final spot at 4-4. With the Zoo Atlanta right on the outside looking in at 3-4, followed by the Crew at 3-5, and buried right next to Rare Form would be TYB at 1-7. So yeah, interesting week.
Very, very interesting.
Not many surprises, but according to you guys' picks, there were 2. So you all went 1, 2, 3, 4, of one. Y'all went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Y'all all went 7-2 because y'all all picked Raiders and y'all all picked Rare Form. And those were your 2 losses. So going into next week, this is our cross-divisional matchup week. So everybody will play one team from their division and one team from the other division. Mm-hmm. So we'll start out with our opening game at Farrell. We have Georgia Elite at Outsiders. Angelo, how will you pick?
Ooh. So, the Outsiders didn't have any major injuries, correct? Everybody. I'm going Outsiders. They're coming off a good weekend. They stayed fresh. I'm sure they learned some stuff. It's gonna be a test for Georgia Elite to see where they at. So I in the thick of things.
What would be your definition of major?
As well. Like not gonna be able to play this week.
I mean,
of any key players.
Okay.
It says freezing again. Is that right? But Billy got Outsiders. Who you got, Dwayne? Mm-hmm. Georgia Elite standing tall at what was it? 1 loss? 5-1?
1 loss. Outsiders are 3-3. Outsiders need to win the main.
Hey, Jason Richardson, is that Jason Richardson's son? Yeah. I thought so.
You say you taking Georgia Elite? Okay. I think it would not be fair for me to not say that someone won't be playing.
The one that got knocked out?
Actually, no. He came back in Sunday because they were so depleted.
Oh.
I wouldn't be playing. I don't, but it has not been confirmed, so I don't know. But okay. The next game would be Georgia Elite at the 25-0 Thrubbing Swamp Bucks. Zip shutout.
You said Georgia Elite versus Swamp Bucks?
Georgia. You could make up ground here. Billy.
Billy, you got Georgia Elite. He got Georgia Elite.
Okay. In our first crossover game at Farrell, we have Outsiders hosting Payton. Dwayne. Okay. Angelo.
I got Outsiders as well. You got Billy. Outsiders versus paid in full. Outsiders.
All right. The next game, we get their first win of their second win of the team's history. Will they defeat
Smoke Dogs, the Outsiders?
the Big Swamp Buck? Will they bully the Big Swamp Bucks and get their first win?
I thought they'd already played, but no, they won't. Who they playing? Who they playing? Swamp Bucks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm
But I ain't picking, so. Dwayne? I'm sure Billy's gonna go. Swamp Bucks? Okay.
keep going. I'll tell you when he responds.
Okay. In a rematch of two powerhouses that went down for first place, we have United at PNF again.
He said it froze again. You got Swamp Bucks versus TYB, Billy. Swamp Bucks versus TYB. That's what we're waiting on for you.
Dwayne. United at PNF.
They've already played this season?
The first game was 7-6 United. Everybody in their division twice.
He got Swamp Bucks.
And who you got for this one, Billy? United or PNF? Or Angelo and Dwayne?
Billy got PNF.
Okay. 12-20 game. Angelo?
Got United versus PNF. Billy got PNF.
And Dwayne got United.
Dwayne got United. And who won the first one?
United won 7-6. After they both took beatdowns by DOA.
I'm going PNF.
Ooh. Okay. Dwayne, you about to make us some ground. Okay. So you didn't believe TYB in the last game.
No.
Will you believe them in this game?
Who they got?
The 1-7 TYB
Versus
the 1-7 Reform.
a Reform.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Because they've let you down 7 times this season.
Yeah, but TYB, is this going to be their last 2 games of the season?
This were both their last 2 games of the season.
Poor TYB going to go 0-20.
Well,
0-19.
but that's the thing. Will Reform show up? Because it's the last game and they out.
They'll show up. They'll show up. Billy got Reform.
Dwayne?
TYB.
Real big.
TYB.
People find ways to lose. You know what, TYB? I'm going to pick y'all.
Pick them then,
I'm
Commissioner.
picking TYB.
Now, if TYB beats them, rare form, we got to have some conversation about. There got to be some conversation at that point, man. You gotta look in the mirror. I was just saying, you gotta look in the mirror. I take the L from TYB at some point. You realize that, right? Somebody at some point they gotta get one on the field.
Okay, our next game. Hosting Rare Form.
Billy said they need to go down to C. Now,
New Jack versus Rare Form.
poor Rare Form. What a way to go out. I hope you get the TYB win. This one might not. And knowing them, they're not going. New Jack, Billy. New Jack in Rare Form.
You picked New Jack, Angelo.
Yes.
Dwayne, you picked.
Billy got New Jack.
Next game we got is LOZ hosting DOA.
Another.
Listen.
Oh man, DOA. DOA versus Billy got DOA.
Dwayne, are you?
The LOC is coming off a hot 6-3 W though. They were hot. They won 6-3, man. Who you talking about?
Who? They have two.
That's really my determined competitor. I don't know right now, so I'm just gonna go with.
Had a chance of repeating had they stayed. LOZ. Oh, you mean the game? LOZ did. Well, I don't know if they played each other because it was some upset.
Well, as they've proven, anything can happen if you get to the playoffs. But based on how the other top teams in that division are playing this season, I'm not. I'm just not. I don't think they probably would have been in the top two this season had they stayed. But I think a playoff run was definitely still have been in their future. So they would have put up a fight to be able to defend the championship. If they had stayed. That I'm willing to bet. Dwayne, DOA or LOZ? Okay. LOZ.
I ain't mad at that.
All right. And the last game is New Jack at DOA. Brandon, where your loyalty line?
Interesting, huh?
The coach and the player.
How about that?
All right. I'm assuming everybody's taking New Jack in that. So moving on over to the other field, we have Atlanta opening up against the Crew.
Who was it again?
Zoo and Crew. Dwayne took the Crew. Billy and Lowe.
Zoo and the, have they played yet?
Everybody don't play twice. Well, no, yes they do. They have played. And the Zoo won the last one. We waiting on you, Lo.
What was the teams again?
Zoo and Crew.
Zoo and Crew. Billy got the Crew. Who you got, Dwayne? I'm going Zoo. I'm going Zoo on y'all.
Okay. Next game we got the Crew and Joe World.
Joe World.
Next game we got well, Billy, you got the Crew or Joe World. Crew or Joe World. Billy, the Crew or Joe World. Wait a minute. Oh, he got Joe World. Okay, I see. All right. Next we got Predators at Zoo. Billy got Zoo. Dwayne, you and Low. Predators at Zoo.
Yeah.
Next game. Now, this could be one of those what they call trap games, sleeper games. Joe World at Smoke.
Somebody said Predators easy. Caesar said Predators easy. Billy got Smoke. Caesar got Smoke.
What do you have?
And it's Smoke versus who?
Joe World.
Yeah, I got Smoke too.
Predators hosting LOZ.
Predators.
Okay. Raiders at Shockwave. Billy. Billy, we got Raiders and Shockwave. Oh, Shockwave, okay. And then next we got YB at United. Any
I
takers?
got YB.
Now, you know last year United had them.
Yeah.
And they celebrated too quick. They had the game won. And then forgot about Man. But Man.
YB got to be coming off a pissed off week of knowing they let a game slip away next week, and they're going to take it out on United.
Okay. Dwayne, same thing?
Yeah, YB.
Billy? YB? Okay. All right, so the last game of the day, Billy, Shockwave at YB. Shockwave at YB.
You know, the Raiders are looking real good this season. It's going to be a good game. They done lost the last two since that one
YB,
tournament W.
okay. All right, so Billy took YB over Shockwave. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's our picks for the week.
Gonna be an interesting weekend here. Got some, some position settings type stuff. And you got two teams on life support. Well, one is off life support. One is on life support. And
on life support?
two teams got to fight through this weekend.
Who on life support?
Ain't LOZ on life support? I mean, technically.
At 2 and 6?
Have you pulled the plug yet? No, I think
the doctor
mathematically.
The doctor is signing the paperwork.
Doctor said there's nothing. Doctor said nothing else we can do. Doctor said nothing else we can do for the patient.
I mean, at 2 and 6.
He said, "Doctor said there's nothing else we can do for the patient, man. Just make him feel comfortable."
At 2 and 6. Because it's not, and I'm not even saying it like they can't win their last 2 games. I'm just saying that they're 2 and 6, but then there are 4 teams ahead of them that are 3 and 3, and then Joe World. So that's a lot of collapsing to do with not a lot of games left to collapse.
Yeah.
So I'm just not. I think it's done. Like I said, LOZ, that's different. We've had the funeral. But I just think the ink has just dried on LOZ season. But, again, I don't expect them to come out there and just roll over and give somebody.
So you just say they have a bad season. They only got blew out by one team, and that was Smoke. Who you talking about? LOZ or which team you talking about?
Oh, this that bad ref. Oh, he garbage. He was watching the other game while he was calling this game. We kept seeing him. He was literally standing there watching the pro game while they were playing.
Wow.
This is the team that Outsiders got into the
LOZ,
situation with.
okay.
That's Boyer right there.
7-footer. You know what I mean? He's straight.
Shout out to Boyer, too. Boyer had a serious scare at Virginia Beach. This him right there, Dwayne. And he had to go to the emergency room. Luckily, he was released and treated and is expected to make a full recovery. But I'm pretty sure that play was taken out of the video. And it was extremely scary to watch. So shout out to Boyer and his recovery from Outsiders.
No doubt. I bet Danny Wolf wish he would wait one more pick, though. I'm sure he much better went to Boston than doggone Brooklyn. At Boston, he probably could have been a baller. At Brooklyn,
Okay.
it's Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's all we got for
It's gonna be a good weekend, man. Good weekend of football. Some important games for a lot of us. I know we one of those people got important games, and we can't slip up. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure a couple of teams feel the same way, so it should be a good weekend.
Please get your registrations in for Brawl for It All. Quite a few have started coming in the past a couple of days since Virginia Beach is wrapped up. It's definitely filling up. A couple of the divisions are almost at capacity. I'm trying to get the list out, but y'all know me. I don't really be pressed for lists. I'm just pressed for payments, and if you miss it, unfortunately, it's been out there. So go ahead and get your registrations in.
Was it $100? What's the registration?
Well, the deposits that were due back on June 1st were
that's all paid positive. Okay.
It is
right now it's registration time.
It's half of the deposit, half of the registration, and the deadline is July 6th. After July 6th, there's a $50 late fee from July 7th, and then it closes on July 11th. And no, if you do not pay it before the 6th, no, we will not extend you the courtesy. It's a $50 late fee.
And ain't no paying at the field.
Registration has been open since January the 19th.
True that. What's the registration for 8-man?
$625.
Okay.
We're expecting some good competitions. This year, we're expecting to be able to do D1, D2, and D3 separate. D3 actually only has, 3 spots left? Because we're taking 12 in each of those divisions. And D3 is at 75% capacity. D1 and D2 are almost at 50% capacity. So,
Huncho, are you in the pro division top 6 teams? In comp division top 5 teams? So right now, you said it's
AU is looking forward to coming back. They've paid their money.
we almost done, Cash. It's New Jack 1 loss, Georgia Elite 1 loss, Smoke 2 losses.
Yes.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes. 1, 1, and 2.
So all the top seeds are still open.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. All right. Good deal. Anything else?
Oh, that's it. Gotta hit that road in the morning, so I had to wrap that up quickly. But yeah, just like I said, let's get ready. Playoffs again are going to be on July 13th. They would have been on the 6th, but we had to give this extra week for a tournament
That only 2 teams went to.
that only 2 teams went to.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't really like to give ass for tournaments, because this always happens. I'd rather you make them up than extend the season, because I also want to put space in between the season and the tournament to give people resting. We'll still have 2 weeks, but you would have had 3.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Good deal, man.
All right.
Good luck to everybody. Make sure you follow the rules. Know where to park. Pick up your trash. No smoking. Y'all know what it is. That being said, man, ATL Flag Football Podcast, 5 Star Sports, and we out. Peace.